All right, good morning, Mr. Lee. You can go ahead and have a seat, and I'll just remind you that you are still under oath. All right, go ahead, Ms. Hilton.
Thank you, Your Honor. 38. Good morning, Mr. Lee. How are you? All right. I'm going to pick up where we left off. I'm going to show you what's already been admitted as State's Exhibit 38NN. Thank you. Oh, Ms. Percival, can you let her in? Thank you. Mr. Lee, looking at Stacey's. Now, a few years ago, did you have the occasion to be present at a hearing involving Mr. Rodalius Ryan and Damone Blaylock?
Yes.
And were you present in that hearing to support Mr. Ryan and Mr. Blaylock?
Yes.
Okay. At some point during the course of that hearing, did you ever send a brain emoji or a rat emoji to a young lady by the name of R. Smith?
Can you repeat that? I'm out of cough.
So, at some point during the course of that hearing, did you ever send a brain emoji and a rat emoji to a young lady by the name of R. Smith?
Think so, yeah.
Excuse me, M. Smith. I'm sorry. What was your purpose of sending a rat emoji?
Because she was lying.
And why did you send her a brain emoji?
Because she was lying, and I just didn't know what was wrong with her brain.
Did you make any postings about Mr. Ryan after that hearing? Yes or no?
Yes.
All right. And Your Honor, I think we need to approach this very briefly.
All right.
Happy Monday, everyone. We are back. We are back. We are back. Not a bad day. Not a bad day at all. We got Doug Weinstein and Max Sharp, Shannon Stillwell, Yak Gotti left on trial. Could not reach plea deals with them. Why is it that you say we could not reach a plea deal? Because the state unequivocally wants to charge Yak with the unaliving of Donovan Thomas. They were willing to knock that down to manslaughter, but yeah, they want to charge him with it. They want to charge a member of YSL with that, and they are not going to not do that. So they're still fighting for his life. Was it a life sentence plus 100 years, 115 years, something like that? And then Shannon Stillwell was 2 life sentences plus 83 years or something like that. And they want him to plead to manslaughter for Donovan Thomas and manslaughter for Shamel Drakes. So they refuse to consider any other person, place, or thing in those unaliving charges. They're willing to knock them down to manslaughter, but they want them to do time. I think it was 20 to do 15 for both, for Yak. And maybe Shannon, it was 40. They wanted him to do 40 with the possibility of parole. And they said, we're taking it to trial. I can now understand a part of why Jeffrey Williams played out as far as like the logistics of it. 6 pum-pums found in a house, and they put those charges on 6 different people. Like all of them on 6 different people. The drugs and narcotics found in the house, they put those charges on everybody. YSL had their own purple drink, so to speak. You know what I mean? Packaged for sale, and they had a microwave that said YSL. Like, you know what I mean? Top of the morning. It's kind of the bass track. Top of the morning. I guess a statement that, according to Max Sharp, was favorable for Jeffrey Williams, state never wanted to use. But now Jeffrey Williams is no longer in this case. Now we want to use it. So we're going to try to get that in through Detective Thorpe, since he's going to be coming to talk about, we want him to talk about the Shamal drinks situation. I mean, if the state don't know how to cut a wound, let it heal a little bit, and then rip the scab off and stuff it in your mouth, that is what they are great at. The part that hurts the most, as just a regular everyday viewer, regular viewer, the part that hurts the most is the state, for all intents and purposes, will seem to have it together and be on track for what it is that they're trying to prove. And I'd be deadgum if they don't throw you a curveball in the middle of some stuff. But the judge said, we're going to have to review what I said, because I don't think what you're trying to say I said. And she's pretty decent at remembering what she said. But I understand the fact that Jeffrey Williams, when his house got raided, so much stuff was found in his house. So many people were in his house. And at the very, least, he's like, okay, I allowed these people in my house. So clearly I'm responsible for some of it. But if I just say I'm guilty of that and take this 15 years probation, it'll make it worth it. Now, what's even more interesting is they will individually package a bullet and put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on it. But for some strange reason, you got, let's just say, 20, 30 pieces of jewelry all sitting on a dresser. Got a bunch of money sitting on a dresser. Yeah, they're just going to throw it all together. Not the money, but, all the jewelry, they're just going to lump it in a package together. Just in one evidence envelope together. No separation out and description of what it is, although that's what they said they trained to do, individually package items and put on there what it is. But, you got a couple mil worth of jewelry, you may choose not to do that, You got a couple stacks of money, you may choose not to do that so much. Why is that, you say? Why would they choose to not individualize the jewelry and the rings and the watches and describe what they are? Somebody may or may not have sticky fingers. But it certainly makes me believe somebody has sticky fingers. Now, not only do they discuss it, right? Doug Weinstein asks about it. And then Atkin comes back and pulls out this envelope with all this jewelry in it and says, look through that. Does that look like all of the jewelry? And he's like, yeah, it look like all the jewelry. Now, how, just by looking at that, can you tell all the jewelry is in there? You're making an assumption because you didn't do anything to track what jewelry you put in that envelope. You just put a bunch of in there. But this is the thing. Doug is looking for a very specific piece of jewelry. And so he asks about that specific piece of jewelry, which happens to be a watch. And guess what's not in there? That watch. The officer goes as far as to dump out the jewelry. You can hear it clanking all over the desk. It ain't in there. Where is it, you say? We don't know. You know why we don't know? Because they chose not to individualize that jewelry and package it all separately. And if, for lack of a better term, maybe it'll gaither, disappear and then show up randomly on a random day for no reason at all. It'll just pop up. Maybe it'll gaither. Maybe it'll, I guess, love Gaither. Since that's what happened with her file, that before Judge Glanville, they didn't have it, didn't know where it wasn't going to show up, and then all of a sudden with Judge Whitaker, it popped up. So, was there a lot of mess in that house? Yes. Was there a lot of people in that house? Yes. Was these people that probably smoke and drink every day? Yes. Was there enough house in there to support their habits? Yeah. I guess we could say yes to that. But yeah. Very interesting. Very interesting. You know. We will see where we land. I am rooting for these guys. I'm not, and at this point, there's no such thing as them getting charged with anything on this indictment and not doing less than 20 years. Anything that they get charged for, I guarantee the state is going to recommend 20 plus years. So at this point, we need another mistrial with prejudice, or we need these boys to be not guilty. And I'm not saying that someone shouldn't be charged with a crime. But what I'm saying is prove their guilt, because they're presumed innocent until proven guilty. Can these boys potentially come home? Maybe. Everybody else so far is getting a second chance at life. Everybody else, the state is willing to give them a second chance at life. It's just because these two won't accept the manslaughter instead of unaliving charges that the state is refusing to negotiate, which is a little unfair. But you know, this is the world we live in, and it is what it is. But who gonna charge Fulton County for stealing? I'm curious to know, because I know over a certain amount it is a felony, and that watch was not cheap. So that's the felony. Yeah. Like, share, subscribe. I do lives every Saturday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. Come and join your girl. I just rant and go off and read comments, and we do what we do. It's a lot of fun. Sometimes it's an hour, sometimes it's 3, because I just get the yakking at the mouth, and you know, it is what it is. But, you know, let's discuss. Let's, you know, we're family now. I almost have 200 subscribers. I'm rooting for 500 before January 1. I'm hoping that I get there. I hope you guys like my content. Feel free to make suggestions in the comments if you feel like there's something that you would like me to touch base on. This is just my overall opinion, me ranting. Sometimes I'm talking crazy and sometimes I'm fine, but you know, it is what it is. The next time I go crazy in the car on the drive home, I will record it just so you guys can see how I'll flip out. But yeah, like, share, subscribe, tune in, turn on those notifications so that when I upload, you will be alerted and you can go and watch it. I'm sorry my videos aren't always short. Sometimes I'm yakking for a minute, which is why I started going live more, because then I have more time to express and my phone ain't alerting me and telling me that my videos is too long and they ain't gonna let me upload it, because I get them from time to time. But just know I appreciate you guys, all of you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for embracing me into the YouTube family. I really do appreciate it, and thank you. And I'm going to add a little clip in here from Mooney Lee. Wooney, when he came in, realized that there was only 2 people in the courtroom. And what'd he say? Oh, they free. I clipped it. I added it. I understand that Hilton wants everything that people say to be truth, but if we gonna go by that theory, then y'all done said a lot, i.e. the Fulton County District Attorney's Office, and y'all a lot of times be talking out the side of y'all. because it don't be true. But I'll put some clips in for today's testimony, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.
11B, 11C for Colette, and 11D.
DK 11.
DK 11A, A, B, C, and D.
Any objection? No objection. They're admitted.
Okay. Mr. Kokomo, can you put up DK 11A, please? Can you tell us what we're looking at in DK 11A?
Looks like we're looking at a bunch of jewelry as well as a stack of currency.
And I don't know if you know the answer to this, but do you know where this was found in Mr. Williams' home?
I don't recall off the top of my head where this jewelry was located.
But it was found in Mr. Williams' home, correct?
Correct.
Could you put DK 11B, please? What are we looking at in DK 11B?
I believe it's same picture, just it shows more of the jewelry and watches.
DK 11C, please, Mr. Kokomo.
More jewelry. Looks like there's some rings.
And DK 11D, what are we looking at there?
There's a sunglass case, a ring case, more jewelry.
Okay. And would you agree that this property likely, just upon looking at it, has significant value?
Most likely, yes.
Okay. And would this be something, when you were doing an itemized evidence report, that you would list piece by piece into that report?
Piece by piece. It depends. With so much jewelry, that might be categorized altogether with just jewelry.
If you just categorize it together as just jewelry, what are the procedures in place to make sure that all of this jewelry is properly tracked and doesn't walk off at some point?
Well, you would place it in an evidence bag, create a property tag for it, and secure the evidence and turn it into property.
Okay. Do you know if that was done in this case?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. So if there was any particular piece of jewelry that had significant value and it was amongst here, you would have put that in a property bag and it would still be in the possession of evidence. Is that correct?
Any property that was seized would be in a property bag and submitted to evidence.
And if it disappeared from the home and didn't appear in the property bag with evidence, where would that property be?
If it disappeared from the home
Yes.
and not in property,
Yes.
I couldn't say where the property would be.
Okay. Thank you. I have no further questions.
Anything, Mr. Short?
Is the APD case number for this case on that piece of evidence?
Yes.
And can you do me a favor and open that up and look inside of it?
Sure.
Thank you.
Go ahead and open up the...
Texas 10. Thank you.
Okay.
And what are the items that are contained inside of this?
It's a whole bunch of jewelry, watches, some chains recovered from the residence. Rings.
The state at this time the state at this time moves to tender into evidence 70 X-ray. No, Your Honor, I'm going to keep it in one 70 X-ray box. No further questions. Thank you, Detective Sorno.
Detective, that's all the jewelry that was seized right there. Is that correct?
Yes.
Can you look through that and tell me if there is a Richard Mill or Mille, M-I-L-L-E, RM055 Bubba Watson white ceramic watch? It's pretty distinctive as it's white ceramic, so that might help your search.
Okay. I mean, I see a Richie Miller, but only it's a pink one. I don't see a white one.
I want you to confirm that there is no white one in there, just so you're certain.
You might need more space than that.
Yeah, there's not a white one here.
Okay, thank you. That's all I need. I have no more questions.